The idea behind the Clouds project is an investigation into ambient information displays and how we can use these to change people's behaviour. And in particular, we're interested in changing people's behaviour at the point of decision making.
Clouds is an Open University research project funded by the EPSRC. You can see that a large typical display has been set up that's giving different feeds of information depending upon what they choose to put on it. But also in this space, right up in this area, will be our large ambient display. Our large ambient display is going to also be sort of pumping a constant feed of information, but the piece of information is going to be much smaller. Our ambient display is going to simply be telling you, are people using the stairs or the elevator? And the more that people use the elevators, the higher the orange cloud of spheres rises, and the more people that are using the stairs, the higher the gray cloud of spheres is rising. And so walking in the building, someone can quickly glance and have this single piece of information given to them, whether they wanted it or not. As people enter in through the Jennie Lee Building, the first thing that they're going to notice is right up in this airspace, there's going to be this large collection of spheres hanging. This is the first point of decision that they make, whether they're going to either go into the central atrium or either head to the upper floors or into the other offices. As they veer in this direction, the floor sensors will detect that they're going this way, and that's when the LEDs will begin to light up along the carpet. The pattern of motion will be acting as a sort of subtle lure, suggesting if you're going to the upper floors, perhaps you should take the stairs. As they walk in this direction towards the stairwell, they'll sort of get a bit of a reward in the sense that the LEDs will begin to spark up faster and faster and faster. But if they step off the path in this direction towards the elevator, the entire series of LEDs will change to sort of a red glowing field. As that pulse of red sort of suggests that the carpet is a bit upset that you didn't take its suggestion to take the stairs, and it's a bit disappointed that you're taking the elevator. So it is a series of strategically placed pressure pads throughout the building. We have these pressure pads at the beginning of every stairwell and at the entrance to every elevator. And this is simply taking a counting of the number of footsteps across this threshold. So as somebody goes up the stairs, we add 1. As somebody goes in the elevator, we add 1. This is a visualization showing what we've been getting from our pressure pads throughout the building. What we're using this for is to compare the different people's usage of the stairs versus the lifts, and also as a way to try to get an early idea of what our structure is going to look like.
Hello, I'm Susanna Hertwig. I am an interaction designer, and I was asked to come up with a concept for the project. The project was about how information could play a role, or how technology could play a role inside architecture to make people do certain things. And of course, starting with a brief and then talking to the people involved in the project, like sharing ideas. So the second step was, okay, identifying these 2 spots in which the installations should take place, and also then really thinking what is feasible. Like in the entrance, the lights on the floor was inspired by these carpet tiles that were already there, so why not just use these tiles? And but the atrium is so high, and there's all that space from the ceiling that is not used. And the most important bit was, of course, that these are functioning pieces, that they communicate what they should be communicating. So one part of this matrix of spheres was supposed to represent the lift, one was supposed to represent the stairs. And the easiest way to do that was like choosing 2 colors, two different colors, keeping it on this very functional level, but trying to add a little more, let's say, of an aesthetic, poetic level, to not just make it informative, but also very pleasing to engage with.
So one of the things we did was we did some low fidelity prototyping, specifically with this, to try to explain what it would look like to have a cloud made of particles that would rise above the other and then throughout the day change shape so that one came either close or above or below to give different pieces of information. This is the second model. I think most of the other model was eaten the day it was made. So there's a sweet spot that we're looking for. There's information that's too aggressive you can't help but see it, and then there's information that's too subtle. You never notice it's there. So we're really looking for the best way to design information that is useful but non-distracting and non-intrusive. The question is, how do we do it? Or how does the large atrium outside tell you a piece of information that might be of use to you without just slapping it on yet another screen and hanging it in your environment? So there's two things that we need to find from this project. One is whether or not people are capable of receiving the piece of information in the way we're delivering it. Second thing we need to find out is how they're using that information. So if we tell a bunch of people that their colleagues are all using the elevators, will they start using the stairs? If we see this change of behavior happen, then we know they're receiving the information and we know in some way the display is effective.
Thank you.